On OSRC News at 7, federal government announces 5 billion naira palliative each for 36 states FCT. Ondo indigenous task minister designate Bumi Tunji Ojo on deep sea port. 40 years after 1983 post-election violence, Akure indigents unite for progress. DSS issues security alert on another ABUJA-KADUNA train attack. And from the foreign scene, ECOWAS defense chiefs vow military intervention in Niger if diplomatic efforts fail. Good evening and welcome to the news. My name is Remy Allen. The federal government has announced a 5 billion naira palliative for rich states of the federation, including the Federal Capital Territory, to cushion the impact of the removal of the petrol subsidy. The governor of Borno State, Babagana Zulum, made the announcement in Abuja when he spoke at the end of the National Economic Council meeting. Vice President Kashim Shettima presided over the meeting. The council is made up of the governors of the 36 states, governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, and other co-opted government officials. President Bola Tinubu has released the first batch of portfolios assigned to his newly appointed ministers, with a member representing Akoko Northeast, Northwest in the Federal House of Representatives, Olubumi Tunji Ojo, heading the newly created Ministry of Marine and Blue Economy. President Bola Tinubu had yesterday assigned portfolios to all the 45 ministers designates whose nominations were recently confirmed by the Senate. Meanwhile, the Office of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, SGF, has confirmed Monday a swearing-in date for the ministers. The SGF Judge Akume, in a statement, said the swearing-in ceremony for the ministers, which will be conducted by the president, would hold at the State House Conference Center, Aso Villa, Abuja, by 10 a.m. The statement said the incoming ministers were expected to come with 2 guests each. In the meantime, the Owale of Ikari-Akoko in Akoko Northeast, Northwest, Oba Adeleke Adedoyin Adegbite II, has described the portfolio assigned to the ministers designate Olubumi Tunji Ojo as a great opportunity for Ondo State to speedily realize its deep sea port project. The Owale, in a statement, said the newly established Ministry of Marine and Blue Economy was a good omen for Ondo State with the approval of the Ondo State Deep Sea Port Project. The monarch, who solicited support for the minister-designate to deliver on his mandate, said his appointment is well-deserved. Oba Adedoyin Adegbite, while commending the president's decision, charged Olubumi Tunji Ojo to make Ondo State proud by bringing to bear the greatest legacy of Governor Oluwarotimi Akeredolu, the Ondo Deep Sea Port. It's now 40 years since the August 16, 1983 tragic post-election crisis that claimed several lives and caused destruction of properties in Akure, Ondo State capital. In commemoration of the sad event, which has now necessitated an annual special prayer session tagged Akure Praise, sons and daughters of Akure gathered to seek God's face for the town's development and prosperity. OSRC's Zaid Aribisala reports that the Deji of Akure, Oba Alade Toyinbo Alade Lucy, enjoined all Akure-speaking communities to be united for progress.
Despite the heavy downpour, the Deji of Akure, Oba Alade Toyinbo Alade Lucy, led other sons and daughters to the Akure City Hall for the second edition of this program tagged Akure Praise with the theme New Beginnings. Also present at this gathering are traditional rulers from various communities. The Akure Praise program, which commenced in 2022, holds every August 16 in commemoration of the crisis that engulfed the kingdom on that day in 1983, now 40 years in 2023. The gloomy day in the history of Akure Kingdom witnessed the destruction of lives and property of prominent indigents, but this annual prayer is designed to seek the face of God for the town's prosperity while healing the wound of those moments.
Last year, we had the leading edition of this program, Akure Praise, with the theme, "The siege is over." Confession was made, while evil covenants were broken.
Different clergy from various denominations took to the podium to offer prayers of forgiveness of sins arising from the 1983 crisis and prayers to shut every door of untimely death.
To me, August 16 is extremely significant. It has to take the grace of God for me to be telling my own story now. But I hope and pray that this tragedy of 40 years will never repeat itself in Akure. And I pray for all the coming generations not to have the spirit to go to war just because they disagree politically.
Special prayers for salvation and understanding of God's purpose for the creation of Akure were also rendered.
It's good as we come together to pray, but everything starts from individuals. The personal relationship with God, very, very important.
After that incident, Akure Digi, they've resolved that ugly incident will not happen again. A lot of election, not perfect since then, but people they've resorted that if you are not happy, go to the law court.
After an intense prayer session, the Akure monarch, Oba Alade Lucy, took the stage with the message of unity and joining all Akure-speaking communities to unite for development.
Let's come together. Come together so that we can move forward. Continue to move forward.
The families of some of those who lost their lives to the 1983 tragic event, like Fagba Migbe, Agumbiade, and others, also received prayers.
I'm happy to be part of this event. This is what my father stood for. My father stood for peace, stood for unity, stood for progress. So I'm glad to be here.
As the second edition of Akure Praise comes to an end, the message of unity rings loudest. But to achieve this, it has become the responsibility of every indigene to spread the message, both home and abroad. Sahir Aribisala, OSRC News.
The Ondo State Ministry of Agriculture has been challenged to rise to the occasion of contributing to food sufficiency towards addressing the acute hunger Nigerians are passing through. Callers on Sunshine 96.5 FM, Alalaye's current affairs program, Akbiru, through the challenge, while also urging the federal government to focus more on alleviating the poverty in the land. Some of the callers, including Mr. Tunji from Owena Ijesha in Osun State and Comrade Joshua from Idonri, questioned the rationale behind the money handouts to senators while they were going on recess at a time many Nigerians are languishing in anger and poverty. Some others, including Mr. Olaiton from Ikole Ekiti, Mr. Wale from Ado Ekiti, and Damilola from Igbado in Ondo West local government, called on Nigerians to take agriculture seriously at a time like this, while also urging government at all levels to provide more incentives to farmers towards enhancing food security. President Bola Tinubu says education is Nigeria's foremost tool against poverty. Tinubu also noted that his administration remained determined to embrace the prospect of digital economy and telecommunications, which he described as the future. Tinubu, who received a delegation from global tech giant Google, said his administration would leverage digital technology to create Nigeria's desired socio-economic progress that is necessary to transform society. Tinubu said his administration takes education very seriously and that is the foremost tool the federal government has against poverty. He added that the digital economy and telecommunications represent the future and his administration is determined to promote it. You're watching OS Housing News at 7. We'll take a break. We'll be back shortly. Please stay with us.
Win an all-expense-paid trip to Disneyland in the Indomie Golden Magnet promo. To participate, just buy the Indomie 70-gram pack and look for the magnet inside. Log into www.indomie.ng/Golden Magnet promo to fill in your details and enter your unique magnet code. All the Golden Magnet winners will get to experience the wonders of Disneyland. Silver Magnet winners stand a chance to win amazing prizes. Every pack of Indomie you buy comes with your favorite Indomitable magnet. Terms and conditions apply. Indomie, tasty nutrition, good for you.
The words are hard to find, but they're still heavy on my mind tonight. The pain is deep inside, but I still want to hide. Happy birthday!
Is this what you really want to do?
Yes, Dad. That's what I've been trying to show you.
Fight for your dreams the advanced way with Glow LTE Advanced. The power of 3 data networks in one. Get a Glow SIM or dial *301#.
Win an all-expense-paid trip to Disneyland in the Indomie Golden Magnet promo. To participate, just buy the Indomie 70-gram pack and look for the magnet inside. Log into www.indomie.ng/Golden Magnet promo to fill in your details and enter your unique magnet code. All the Golden Magnet winners will get to experience the wonders of Disneyland. Silver Magnet winners stand a chance to win amazing prizes. Every pack of Indomie you buy comes with your favorite Indomitable magnet. Terms and conditions apply. Indomie, tasty nutrition, good for you.
Welcome back. You can watch us live on our website www.osrc.ng or follow us on Facebook at OSRC TV, and on YouTube you can subscribe to our channel OSRC TV Ondo. Moving ahead, the need for Nigerian leaders to harness potentials of youth to place the country on a high pedestal among its peers has been stressed. District Governor, Lions Club International, District 404A4 Nigeria, Dr. Goforowola Jegede gave the charge during activities marking this year's Youth International Day in Akure, the Ondo State capital. Omoriola Ogbeji reports that the theme for this year's International Youth Day is Green Skills for Youth Towards a Sustainable World. Her report.
Lions Club International, District 404A4, Nigeria, in collaboration with Leadership Experience Opportunity, LEOs, of the district, put together this symposium to celebrate the youth. The event is part of the club's vision to empower citizens, volunteers, and partners to improve the well-being and strengthen communities through humanitarian services. The theme for this year's International Youth Day, Green Skills for Youth Towards a Sustainable Growth, centered on the need to help young men and women discover themselves in order to effectively play their part in building a viral nation. District Governor, Lions Club International District 404A4, Dr. Ofoorola-Jegede, in her address said, youths are the nation's hope, as their contributions are needed to help redeem the image of the nation in the global market. According to her, the youths are more knowledgeable in information, communications, technology, hence the need to encourage and nurture them for the good of the land.
The nation. When you post on your asset, when you post it on Facebook, you post it on Twitter, you post it on Instagram, how beautiful your country is, and we stop all those fraudulent posts. I'm telling you, within 1 month, 2 months, the developed nation, we see a changed nation. They will respect us.
Others who spoke online on the theme, Chairperson, Youth Exchange and Empowerment of the Club, Emmanuel Chukura, and Chairperson, Leo Program for the districts, Emmanuel Onavwe, confirmed that youths are the most connected, outspoken, and open-minded, hence the need for them to fully utilize their potentials. For the club's past council chairman, Tokunbo Jegede, the event was specially targeted at the youths.
The green skills are just for the youths to be able to identify themselves and then seek for ways and means of making ends meet through productive ventures, through creativity, through skills acquisition, through being thoughtful about what they want to do, not just trying to go the way of crime.
High points of the event was a lecture delivered by Professor Adekunle Dada on the topic, Imbibing Values of Services to Humanity, Great Asset to Nation Building.
Money or energy to help others does not just make the world better, it also makes you better. Studies indicate that the very act of giving back to the community boosts your happiness, health, and sense of well-being.
Dr. Ofoorola-Jegede is expected to be officially installed as pioneer governor of District 404A4, Nigeria, on 2nd of September this year. Omoniola Hungbiji, Osrc News.
The arraignment of suspended Central Bank of Nigeria CBN Governor Godwin Emefiele at the Federal Capital Territory FCT High Court in Abuja over 6.9 billion naira alleged procurement fraud has been stalled due to the absence of the second defendant, who is said to be indisposed. Although Emefiele, who is the first defendant, was present in court. Following an application for adjournment, the presiding judge and Justice Amza Mwazu adjourned the matter to August 23, 2023. Emefiele, while being arraigned alongside Yaro and her company, April 1616 Investment Limited, on 20 charges of procurement fraud, conspiracy, and conferring corrupt advantages on its associates. The embattled Apex Bank chief, who has been in detention since he was suspended from office on June 9, 2023, was accused of conferring corrupt advantages on Yaro, a director in April 1616 Investment Limited. Meanwhile, the Federal High Court sitting in Lagos has struck out the illegal possession of firearm charge against the suspended Central Bank of Nigeria CBN Governor Godwin Emefiele following an application by the Ministry of Justice to withdraw it. Justice Nicholas Owebo struck out the charge after holding that the prosecution had the statutory powers to withdraw a charge against a defendant at any stage of trial. The judge, in his ruling, held that the application filed by the Director of Public Prosecution, DPP, Mohammed Abubakar, seeking the withdrawal of the case is found in Section 108 of the Administration of Criminal Justice Act, ACJA, which empowers him to withdraw the charge, and there is no requirement for the application to be in writing. The defense, through its lead counsel, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, Joseph Daudo, had argued that the prosecution could not withdraw the charge unless the government purges itself of its disobedience to the court's order of July 25 granting Emefiele bail. Justice Oweibo, in a short ruling, condemned the conduct of the prosecution. The Department of the State Services has issued a security alert to the Nigeria Railway Corporation on a plot by bandits to attack the ABUJA-KADUNA train link at any possible time. A memo by the director of the DSS FCT Command, RN Adekpemu, warned train passengers to be security conscious. Following the terrorist attack on the train that occurred on March 28, 2022, train trips were temporarily suspended on the Abuja-Kaduna corridor. The DSS advised that security measures should be heightened along the route, while also putting some recommended measures in place. The service said the development is sequel to the plot by a coalition of banditry syndicate to attack Abuja-Kaduna train service aimed at kidnapping passengers on board for ransom any moment from now. The Defense Headquarters, DHQ, has confirmed 36 officers were killed in Niger State. Director of Defense Media Operations, Major General Edward Buba, who made this known when he gave a breakdown of casualties in the ambush of troops in Niger State and an evacuation helicopter that crashed on August 14, 2023, said that an investigation is still underway to determine the cause. He urged citizens to be wary of propaganda by terrorists and remain patriotic. Insurgents had ambushed troops in the Zungeru area of the state, and some troops of the Nigerian army paid the supreme price. The World Health Organization has opened its first summit on traditional medicine, with the group saying it was seeking to collect evidence and data to allow for the safe use of such treatments. The UN Health Agency said traditional medicines are a first port of call for millions of people worldwide, with the talks in India bringing together policymakers and academics aiming to mobilize political commitment and evidence-based action towards them. WHO Chief Tedros Ghebreyesus said as he opened the summit that WHO is working to build the evidence and data to inform policies, standards, and regulations for the safe, cost-effective, and equitable use of traditional medicine. Tedros said traditional medicine could bridge healthcare access gaps, but was of value only if used appropriately, effectively, and above all, safely based on the latest scientific evidence. Troops of the Economic Community of West African States have pledged readiness to deploy its standby force that could restore civil rule in Niger Republic should diplomatic efforts to reverse the coup there fail. All member states, except those under military rule, and Cape Verde pledged to participate in the standby force at a meeting in Accra, Ghana's capital.
This was expected to happen because the decision was hasty, and it was the extreme decision that the organization should have taken at the last minute after using the other path, diplomatic path, dialogue, and other way of ensuring that at least a conversation can happen with the coup makers. They didn't do that. It has a great impact negatively on fixing this crisis, the way the ECOWAS as an institution wanted to fix it through military means, as they have stated, because there is not unity in the group whether to go to war or not. And this started with really the flag bearer of democracy in West Africa, Cape Verde, which is a small island but known for democracy, said no to military intervention. Additionally, you have across the continent many states and many people, the ordinary citizenry in Africa, say no to military intervention. They have the feeling that this is waged on behalf of France for a neo-colonial proxy war. And within ECOWAS itself also, you have really the negative view for the use of force from countries like Niger, Mali, Burkina Faso, Guinea-Conakry, military forces that are willing to go to war against those within ECOWAS that are calling for military intervention to oust the current president that is led by the junta, Abdurrahman Chani. Absolutely. If they decide to go to war, they will transform this region into a ball fire, another Libya. We have known what happened in other places in the world where there were military intervention. In 2003 in Iraq, in 2001 in Afghanistan, America intervened, couldn't fix it, but created a mess behind its footsteps. Same thing happened in Libya when NATO intervened there. In the case of West Africa, we are here in Burma camp, military headquarters of the army of Ghana. But you can clearly see that they don't have the capacity to go to war, neither logistically, nor the resolve, nor the support of the people. Even the parliament have not been consulted, and when they have been consulted, there have been a rejection of military use.
Container ship Joseph Skortle has headed for Turkey after being trapped at Odessa port for 18 months. Russia says it will regard all ships heading to Ukrainian ports as parties to the conflict. Ukraine announced a humanitarian corridor after collapse of the Black Sea grain deal last month. Russia has not said whether it will respect Ukraine's decision to let the container ship leave port of Odessa. And with that story, we conclude OSRC News at 7. But before we go, here is another look at the top stories. The federal government has announced a 5 billion naira palliative for each state of the federation, including the Federal Capital Territory, to cushion the impact of the removal of the petrol subsidy. Indigenes of Ondo State have tasked Minister-designate Bumi Tunji-Ojo on the realization of the Ondo Deep Sea Port, the Owale of Ikare Akoko in Akoko Northeast, Northwest, Oba Adeleke Adedoyin Adegbite II, described the portfolio assigned to Olubumi Tunji-Ojo as a great opportunity for Ondo State to speedily realize its deep sea port project. Also in the news, 40 years after the 1983 post-election violence in Akure, the Ondo State capital, indigenes have held prayers for the unity and progress of the town. In commemoration of the sad event, which has now necessitated an annual special prayer session tagged Akure Praise, sons and daughters of Akure, led by the Deji of Akure, Oba Aladelusi, gathered to seek God's face for the town's development and prosperity. Also, the Department of State Services, DSS, has issued a security alert on another ABUJA-KADUNA train attack. The DSS, in a memo, urged the Nigeria Railway Corporation, public, and train passengers to be security conscious. And from the foreign scene, we informed you that the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, has vowed to intervene in Niger military if diplomatic efforts fail. And that's the news. Many thanks for watching. Good evening.